executive members of the COP, both national and constituency, fellow COP members, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And a special good evening to those listening on air. Welcome everyone to the constituency of Dabadi Omera. When I accompanied Amit, a member of our national campaign team, to this community center here in Phase 4 Malabar to look at the logistics for this meeting, he thought the meeting was in the constituency of Arima, as of course Malabar is in the borough of Arima. So for those who may not know, this constituency, Dabadi Omera, is made up of the entire southern part of the Arima borough, bounded to the north by the priority bus route, to the east by Tumpuna, and to the west by Omera. West of the borough, it includes the Samaru village, Olton Road, and all of Dabadi, south of the eastern main road. Dabadi Omera is a very diverse constituency. What we in Arima refer to as Old Malabar is an old community that was first occupied by Indian indentured laborers and their descendants who worked on the Orange Grove sugar estates, while what we call New Malabar is the more recent 4 phases of the former NHA and now HDC public houses estate. Tumpuna is a mixture of older communities like the Bellamy Street area, where Arima oldest steel band, Melodians, is located, and several new private housing developments. Samaru Village, Olton Road, and Dabadi are also mixed with older and newer communities. And Karapo is an older agriculture community that includes Peytonville and the newest settlement of Evergreen behind the Arima racetrack. Previous to 2007, when this constituency was first established, Karapo fell in the constituency of St. Augustine, and most of the rest in Aruka South. Based on historical voting patterns, there are areas in the constituency where we have enjoyed overwhelming support, and the same holds true for our opponents. I use time to explain this for 2 reasons. Firstly, though the constituency was only established in 2007, all of the communities except 3, the Crossings, Signature Park, and Ascot Gardens, predate the constituency. So as a nominee to contest this seat on behalf of the COP and the People's Partnership, it is important that I have an understanding of the demographics of the communities in the constituency. For if chosen, I can only represent people adequately when I know the people, their history, and their aspirations. I grew up in Malabar Phase 1, where my parent and siblings still live. My mother is here in the audience tonight. And I've spent the past year as caretaker representative, further integrating with the many communities in this constituency. Secondly, it is to show how the COP, staying true to its core principles and values, has provided service without bias to communities and individuals throughout the length and breadth of this constituency. I must pay tribute to Mr. Anil Roberts for his work in this regard. You see, I've been involved in politics since my early youth. In 1987, at the age of 22, I was appointed an alderman of the Arima Borough Council, where I also served as deputy mayor in the last council. I have an understanding of the political tactics of our opponents, as polls have consistently shown that the Prime Minister is preferred over the leader of the opposition to continue running the affairs of our country. they have launched intensified attacks based on lies and innuendo, aided and abetted by a fugitive of the American justice system. They have also stepped up their propaganda campaign against our esteemed leader, seeking to characterize him as weak, just as they did with our founding leader, and as a sellout. I call on our members and supporters and all right-minded independent voters not to swallow propaganda from the PNM and their cahoots. From the Baptist letter of 1981 to the more recent fake emails, they always seek to deflect from their incompetence and discrimination by manufacturing falsehood and repeating them often enough so that the more gullible may believe. For you see, they cannot stand on their record. We stand by ours. When we speak of our accomplishments, their spin doctors and street propagandists say, so what? That is what you were elected to do. I say, exactly. So why the hell you didn't do it? In these constituencies, drivers along the Churchill-Roosevelt between O'Meara and the Wallerfield pillars face the peril of unlit two-way traffic with no shoulder and deep roadside trenches. Users will recall the mountains of aggregate at the side of the road, growing grass for over 7 years. Within months, the PP government, we got a well-lit four-lane dual carriageway. Mrs. Teixeira and Mr. Rowley, why didn't you do it? Or the collapsed bridge in Samaru village, restored by the PP within months as well. Mr. Teixeira, Mrs. Teixeira, sorry, and Mr. Rowley, why didn't the PNM do it? I believed you said that is what governments are elected to do. So again, why didn't you do it? And I could go on and on. When we speak of our accomplishments in drainage, they try to label us as buck-drained government. We are the box-drained government. I think that's far better than no-drain government. Is it that they don't care about our citizens whose properties are flooded whenever heavy rains come, or who have to walk through muddied roads to go about their business? In the past 5 years, these are some of the accomplishments of the COP in Dabadi O'Meara. Drainage and bridges. 57 roadside drainage projects completed. 12 in Dabadi, including Unityville, Galaxy Gardens, Olton Road, Pinewood Drive, and Mausika Road North and South. 23 in Malabar. Remember, there are areas of Malabar where our opponents have heavy support, yet 23 were done in Malabar, equity, COP style. This include Akbar Ali East, Kilowan Avenue, Malabar Road, Daniel Trace, Pomegranate Avenue, and so on. A significant part of the Manikou ravine was paved. 3 in Samaru Village, 16 in Karapo, 2 in Tumpuna, and 1 in Printreville. In terms of major water courses, the Mora River, just before Boys Lane in Dabadi, was dredged as well as the one in Peytonville. Retaining walls were constructed in Lachman Singh Avenue, Malabar, and along the Mausika River in Emerald Gardens and Printreville. So call us box-drain if they want. The fact is, the plight of long-suffering residents have been and continue to be addressed. 4 bridges were constructed in Dindial Trace and Ajimbash Street, which are both in Malabar, and Samaru Village and Dabadi. Road paving and sidewalks. A total of 102 road paved or resheeting projects were completed over the past 5 years in Dabadi O'Meara, with 8 areas being provided with sidewalks for the first time, parks and recreation grounds. Major improvements, including the provision of lights, were completed in 10 grounds, 5 in Malabar, 2 in Samaru Village, and 1 each in Galaxy Gardens, Peytonville, and Pascal Lane, Carapo. During the next term of the PP government, work started at the India grounds, Malabar, and Carapo grounds will be completed after proper consultation with the nearby residents and other stakeholders. Street lighting. 8 districts in Tunapuna, Malabar and Samaru Village were provided with street lights for the first time. Water mains. 17 laying of water mains projects were completed in Malabar, Tumpuna, Carapo, Unityville, Darwell Gardens, Ferry Road, and Andrew Lane. Community centers. This facility, Malabar Phase 4 Community Center, was built by the PP government. It was on the PNM's budget for years. They talked about it. We built it. Ramshackle community centers in Old Malabar and Carapo were replaced with modern structures and amenities. The rebuilding of the Samaru Village Community Center is in progress and will be reopened early in the next term. The vast majority of these projects were initiated and completed by Mr. Roberts. During my stint as caretaker, I have overseen the completion of a few and the initiation of a small number with the assistance of my political leader and others in government. In addition to these physical projects, several social projects to uplift the communities and individuals were undertaken. I myself have organized social and sporting events, including a Christmas dinner for senior citizens, where stalwarts from the communities were awarded, distribution of clothing and footwear to the needy through donations from individual and businesses in the constituency, distribution of toys to children for Christmas in a drive through the constituency, and a constituency-wide football competition in the Samaru Village grounds. Several constituents were assisted in assessing government-provided social programs. I have noticed a trend where some in politics parade needy recipients to show off their works. As someone of humble origins, I know that being publicly paraded as a beneficiary of social assistance can be humiliating for the recipient. As a practicing Roman Catholic, I also know that when you do good deeds for others to give charity, you're not being charitable and will not receive blessings if you seek to use these acts of personal publicity while robbing beneficiaries of their dignity. So I've outlined accomplishments to show that this government has done what it was elected to do. Constituents of Dabadi Omera know what has been done over the past 5 years in all areas of the constituency, including opposition strongholds. No one can claim that their area was neglected out of political spite. I ask all in conscience to measure these accomplishments against what they were accustomed to from the opposition, who represented, or as we say, misrepresented their communities for so many years. Before I close, I want to address this to my political leader in his capacity as Minister of Justice. Sir, many residents of Malabar Phase 3 and 4 object to the construction of the Arima Court in their residential community. I consider their concerns to be legitimate and publicly call on you, as I have privately, to visit this decision. I firmly believe that electors in Dabadi Omera are politically mature, intelligent, sophisticated. They have the capacity to distinguish between fact and fiction, truth and propaganda, and we will certainly not want to return to the days of disproportionate development when rural and semi-rural communities, as we have here in Dabadi O'Meara, see little or no development. When we in the COP remain strong, we are strong in our commitment to serve fairly and equitably, with humility, grace, and most of all, deliver, so that all citizens can achieve and improve quality of life. The COP, the COP, and our partnership allies in Dabadi O'Meara are ready. The troops are lined up. They have been armed with the truth and are ready for battle. So let them bring on the old soldier. When our candidate is named, we begin the march to victory. Thank you.